Reality is 8 schools for one SRO is just not okay.
Even with time stretched among thousands of students.
How many schools are you bouncing between?
So I have 8 schools total.
My buddy Micah Rhodes just did a segment with the news here recently explaining just how critical and important it is to have SROs in the schools. This is something that shouldn't be up for debate, but it is. This is something that I believe that we can proactively fix in real time. This is something that I believe so wholeheartedly that if we actually encourage each other to come together for the best of our kids, that we can make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to preach to you guys and talk to you guys about what is wrong. We already know what's wrong. What I'm here to talk about tonight is what we can do moving forward. So if you guys are interested in protecting the kids and something that we can do right now, stay tuned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So in a moment, I'm going to share with you guys a clip from the segment. It looks like Spotlight in America, I believe it is. They did a segment here about SROs and the importance or what the program looks like here in some of the areas. And one of the best SROs that I think of when it comes to duty, respect, and actually getting the job done is Micah Rhodes. And he's actually a dear friend of mine, a close friend of mine here. And it just goes to show when you watch this video just how hard and stressed out it can be because he's one individual responsible for 8 schools. And when you're strapped out like that, you're tapped out, it's really hard for you to get that intimate bond and connection with each of the students as you wish you could. And the reality is, when they have to respond to an emergency or an incident or a law enforcement incident, they are bound and sworn to have to go. And the problem with that is it leaves the schools exposed or unattended. And I don't mean that to scare anybody, but when you look at the numbers and you watch this video, it's going to show you guys exactly what that means. So let's take a look at what that looks like.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning.
School Resource Officer Micah Rose
Good morning.
greets students in class
They're not just toys, right? They're tools.
and on the playground.
Whoa. Wow.
They're kind of heavy.
He's now in his 7th year in this Washington State elementary school.
When kids feel safe in the school, their focus can be on learning.
Rose says building relationships like this can save lives. School districts in Wisconsin, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and Texas have all reported an increase in threats of violence this school year. Threats that Rose believes can be intercepted by an SRO.
I have students come to me all the time with things that they see or hear, and I'm able to look into that.
Even with time stretched among thousands of students.
How many schools are you bouncing between?
So I have 8 schools total.
Yet staffing does not exist to fill every school that wants an SRO. The most recent Justice Department analysis suggested there are more than 23,000 sworn SROs in America, half coming from local police departments, already short-staffed. States like Kentucky, Indiana, Minnesota, and Tennessee have struggled to fill the positions, and nearly a fifth of SROs are assigned to 5 or more schools like Micah.
Do you think it helps you also avoid emergencies or react to an emergency?
Absolutely. A school resource officer has a intimate, so to speak, knowledge of the school, of the buildings, of how things work, of the emergency response plans. So the value of having someone who has that knowledge and understanding of that school is a huge benefit in being able to respond if there is some type of emergency, an incident that does take place.
What it comes down to is that there just aren't enough officers. We only have a little over 300 school resource officers for roughly 2,700 K-12 schools in the state of Arizona. So that's a bit of a math problem.
Mike Kurtenbach is the Arizona Department of Education School Safety Director.
What do you think it means for chiefs and sheriffs across the country when they get these requests from schools to have a school resource officer and local jurisdictions don't have the staffing?
So it puts chiefs and sheriffs in a very difficult situation. They see the value of school resource officers, the importance of having officers on a campus, establishing partnerships, relationships, and being there in the event that a bad thing happens. But there aren't enough officers to go around.
To police or not to police schools has been a delicate question nationwide. A 2023 analysis of public schools found while SROs reduce some forms of violence, they do not prevent gun-related incidents and may increase the numbers of suspensions and arrests. In the wake of the death of George Floyd and national protests involving police, cities like Oakland, Rochester, New York, and Seattle all ended their SRO programs.
So you think it makes a difference to have a school resource officer in place at schools across the state versus not?
Well, I think it's critically important to have an officer on campus.
In June, a 17-year-old student was shot and killed at Seattle's Garfield High School that had an SRO until the program was canceled in 2020.
When you look at what happened at Garfield, how do you react to the fact that there's not a school resource officer there?
Disappointment, really, because I know from personal experience that school resource officers are so often able to interrupt things long before they happen.
Have a good day.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Chris Daniels.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there's a lot of different things that I believe we can do. There's different ways to skin a cat, right? I believe with the proactive ground roots right in our community program, something that we can do not only to assist our SROs, but actually come together and assist our teachers, our kids, and of course the community members. So a twofold approach that I've kind of put together here after the Uvalde massacre was Veteran Overwatch. A lot of you guys have heard about Veteran Overwatch, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit more information on exactly what that is and how I believe we can make a difference in real time with a proactive solution instead of a reactive solution.
Anthony Tripett has become a familiar face around North Thurston School District campuses.
This is kind of where we are right now as a society, and I want to do my part to help out.
Not just because his daughters attend these schools, but because he's taken it upon himself to patrol around schools like Evergreen Forest Elementary School with Veteran Overwatch.
So I want to be identified so they know, and because the resource officers know who I am, there's no confusion.
Armed with a Glock 23 and his canine companion, Jade.
Good girl. No. And I'll make rounds at different schools to make a presence known.
He says he tries to do this 4 hours a day, changing his routes. This father and veteran founded Veteran Overwatch and began patrolling 2 weeks after the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas. He says the community response has been overwhelmingly positive.
Everyone has been extremely grateful, nice.
The North Thurston School District is aware of Tripett and Veteran Overwatch, telling Fox 13 News he is operating on a public street and as a private citizen. The district says security measures, safety drills, and response plans are in place, including 4 school resource officers. Tripett says he knows them well.
And I'll share a message with them in the morning. Hey, I'm going to be around this school today at this time. If you need me, I'll be here, and vice versa.
Tripett believes he can bridge the response time.
And it can take about 20 minutes if there's a real incident for the next officer to arrive.
Dylan O'Connor, Government Affairs Director with Alliance for Gun Responsibility, doesn't believe this is a good idea.
There's no data anywhere to suggest that the presence of firearms in or around a school does anything to mitigate gun violence. It only increases it.
Regardless of intent, he doesn't feel this is safe and will be tracking the situation.
So I'd be curious to think what some of the students feel like what's happening around their school rather than general support in the community.
Now, Tripett says Veteran Overwatch will hold a meeting next month where everyone, including the school district and faculty, can attend and ask questions. In Lacey, Nia Wong, Fox 13 News.
So, Veteran Overwatch, a concept that is veteran founded but community led. This is where the community members can be trained, insured, and actually fulfill a duty on the outside of the schools while giving our resource officers an opportunity to do their job while they're inside or responding to an incident or emergency. Because like I told you guys a moment ago, if Deputy Rose has to respond to a real-life emergency or an incident at one of the further schools, that leaves the rest of the schools exposed and unattended with no security, no SRO, and no additional resources. So Veteran Overwatch can be a standby volunteer solution right now, where we're on the outsides of the schools, standing by, waiting for incidents, listening to the scanner if anything should arise in that area. Doing patrols on the outside of the school, letting people know that this school will not tolerate, or this area will not tolerate child predators or child massacres or anything like that. because we are standing here charged and ready to do the job. This is something that I don't believe needs to be up for debate or needs to be that political. And I am willing to embrace the concept of taking veteran Overwatch to the SRO school and whatever is necessary so we can actually get the extra training that they would like. I'm willing to expand the program so much and stuff that we can actually be a part of the school resource officer program if they're willing. Taking trained individuals with our weapons or training qualifications, doing the exact same SRO duties and or the classes and training necessary to do this job. I believe in it so much that I'm willing to do this if they would give us a chance. But the reality is there's not enough school resource officers for each of the schools. There's not enough law enforcement officers to just break away from what they're doing to become school resource officers. That is the current dilemma and issue that we have right now. That's not up for debate. That is where we are. It's not where we want to be, but ladies and gentlemen, it is where we are. There are things that I believe we can proactively do right now, and I'm willing to show you, along with the community, exactly what we can do. This January 26th, I'm going to be hosting a public meeting available for all community members and also a part for us to try to recruit and get some of you guys who are interested in picking up the charge and taking care of our kids. Now, a huge part of the program comes with, of course, a lot of mentorship. All right. There's a lot of mentorship when it comes to the program, a lot more than it is just doing standard patrols and stuff like that that looks quote unquote cool. Because this is so much more than just looking cool. I believe if we can engage with these kids, we're going to be able to get there and be a mentor to them before these issues arise. They're going to come to you and tell you the problems that they're having and look to you for ways that they can solve these issues. I know this because it happens to me every single Friday with the teens and stuff in my community. I host an open mic every single Friday for the kids, the teenagers, the community members to come, and I offer the mentorship and guidance to them as need be. And these kids come back every week interested in what we're trying to do and learn. While singing songs, expanding their goals, expanding their public speaking and confidence, it's an amazing thing that we do every single Friday. So if you're in the Lacey area, I encourage you guys to come on out on a Friday night. We do it also at Cafe Elite, so you're welcome to come and sing with us. It's from 6 to 9. It's absolutely free event that I host every week, available for you guys to actually see what we're doing on the mentorship side as well. Because like I told you guys a moment ago, if we actually can get to our kids ahead of time with the resources available to them, they're going to be thinking about solving the problem instead of creating a bigger problem. We can get to these kids before bigger issues arise, but it's going to take a lot more help because Micah being at 8 different schools doesn't seem feasible to actually connect with each student that needs the help, especially when emergencies are coming off and crime is rising. There's no debate when crime is rising in everybody's area, and there's only so much that the law enforcement officers can do. And there's also the aspect of how much should we be asking our law enforcement officers to do when there's things that we can do on the mentorship side, like a program like this. That's the beauty of this, and we're not even getting paid for it. Right now, it is a 100% all volunteer service, and if we're willing, we can get the grants and expand and actually start to pay the guys to help us out. But I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. Your help to come out to the meeting. Again, it's going to be on January the 26th from 12 to 3 p.m. So I encourage you guys to come out. I'm going to put the graphic up there for you guys to see. But I'm going to be talking about exactly what Veteran Overwatch does in the community. Adam's going to be there talking about his side of the training aspect and how we actually fulfill these duties with training first and then getting engaged with the individuals. Then we're also going to try to have a couple other guest speakers, if I can get them there, and ask them to come out. Hopefully we can get some guest speakers to come out and talk about the Community Roots program and how it's important for us to come together and make a difference. All of this is available for you guys. I'm going to post the information on our website, allinadays.com. Also, be sure to check the Instagram and Facebook page because we're going to be putting the flyers and all the videos and stuff like that for you guys. And last but not least, do not forget to check out the YouTube page as well. We'll post all the links and all that stuff down in the bio and in the comments for you guys. But again, Check this stuff out. It's important. Get engaged with the conversation. Let us know what we can do to make a difference, and come out to the meeting, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.